cultural moment, not even the American president. With our ever-changing culture, one thing remains constant in the United States. Politics has always produced bitter debate and sharp division among Americans. A political system based on the competition of ideas often tends toward vitriolic partisanship. As the history of presidential pets is largely divorced from policy, it offers us a chance to see our leaders, past and present, as people rather than politicians. Whatever one might think of George W. Bush's foreign policy or Joe Biden's infrastructure package is irrelevant in this context, where their obvious love for their dogs illuminates oft-obscured aspects of their personalities. During the writing of this book, I found myself gaining a surprising amount of sympathy for presidents whose policies I strongly oppose. Of course, I am not the first person swayed by a cute furry face. Herbert Hoover used a photo of his dog to help win his election, and Richard Nixon saved his political career by invoking his daughter's puppy, Checkers, during a nationally televised speech. Having a dog does not make you a better president, but the way a person, even a president, interacts with a dog can make that person relatable to a dog-crazy public. On a personal level, I am in a good position to understand the way dogs can help people forge connections. As a legally blind man, I have traveled with a black Labrador retriever named Sammy for the last 7 years. He is an invaluable and necessary part of my life. While I rely on him to guide the way, Sammy also acts as a crucial point of connection to the world. We cannot enter a restaurant or a grocery store without comment, and strangers often approach me to talk about their own furry friends. There is a bond between dog owners, a link that feels personal, even when it isn't. Working with a guide dog makes you a de facto ambassador for disability education. I regularly find myself explaining service animals to children who have never encountered them, and then happily discussing pet care with their parents. Shortly after being paired with Sammy, I was offered a chance to work for the Presidential Pet Museum, an online collection of history and lore covering the full gamut of first pets. I would be lying if I said my own relationship with animals wasn't part of my interest in the specific swath of history covered by my work for the museum and my writing of All-American Dogs. The behind-the-scenes details of life at the White House, the hours off-stage when presidents and their families are at their most normal, these are the details that can bring color and perspective to history. Learning that the single most powerful person in the country, an individual whose pronouncements can impact global finance and whose command can launch potentially apocalyptic nuclear strikes, is still worried about a puppy pooping on the rug, is my version of the old, he puts his pants on one leg at a time cliché. What dog person can't relate? To the serious history buff, it might seem trivial to discuss a politician's pet ownership. I would argue that presidents' private moments directly impact their ability to make decisions. Anyone who has tried to run a conference call or write a memo with a barking dog in the room can easily understand how this might be. Likewise, every person who has enjoyed a few minutes petting a puppy on a stress-filled day can appreciate the clarity such moments of reduced anxiety can offer. The recent rise in the number of animals trained to provide emotional relief for people suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder bears this out, as do several examples in this book. Presidents under great pressure, Lincoln during the Civil War, and Kennedy during the Cuban Missile Crisis, among others, interacted with dogs to relieve the burdens of office. The human-animal relationship runs both ways, of course. Just as dogs make our lives easier, we must likewise help them. To this end, the reader can find a list of resources at the end of this book. It contains just a small sampling of the many wonderful organizations working to improve the lives of animals, from rescue shelters to animal rights advocates. No such list is exhaustive, but this one offers a variety of ways to improve an animal's life. Beyond my personal interest and my desire to draw attention to worthy causes, I hope this book offers readers a new perspective on American history. By tracing the evolution of presidential dog ownership, we gain insight into a president's thought processes. Just as important, we expand our understanding of the world in which those presidents lived. It is